Cool. So, thank you for coming to interview me. And I would
Sure.
just like to ask you to start off by introducing yourself, what your name is, what content grade you have taught, and how many years you've been a teacher.
Okay. So my name is Carlen Smith, and I have been teaching for 22 years. I'm a science teacher. It's my uh, I taught everything from physical science. I've taught biology. I've taught forensic science. I've taught marine biology. I've actually even taught a couple math classes in there. My concentration is secondary education. I've taught any ninth grade up through seniors. I currently teach human anatomy and physiology honors, which is they call it a dual enrollment course, which means they are taking it at the high school and they get high school credit for it, but they also have the opportunity to take it for credit from the local community college, which happens to be Middlesex County College. And that's what I currently do and have been doing for 10 years now. I also am an adjunct instructor or professor at Mercer County College. I teach biology over there as well.
Yeah, sweet. Thank you.
Sure.
A lot of teaching.
Yeah.
Many
Yeah.
years. All right. So, just as a teacher, can you describe your PLN?
Sure. So when it comes, it was actually funny when I saw the questions about the PLN, because when I was going through school, like they didn't really have a name for it, I guess. Um, and so when I really sat down and thought about who is part of this network that I look to, I thought about, you know, kind of what I would think or how I would define a PLN. And I thought to myself, it's really anybody who gets you through, lesson to lesson, day to day, week to week, year to year, as an educator. And really, when I thought about that, I thought that, obviously the teachers that you surround yourself with, or your coworkers you surround yourself with, are people that you look for support, emotionally as well as professionally. You look to them for ideas, you look to them for, just kind of talk about new lessons or changes in the curriculum or any professional development that might be happening. You look for their advice. But they're also there to laugh with and cry with and complain with, and because there's a lot of that kind of goes on, and that's all part of when you walk in your classroom, you want to be the best you can be, and if you have people who can help you emotionally as well, so when you do walk in that classroom, that's what you focus on and not all the other things that are going on. That's helpful. So the teachers are, that your coworkers, I guess you could say, are the ones who are the obvious, but I think, even your students, I have past students that come in and talk as guest speakers. Teaching anatomy and physiology, I have a lot of students that go into medicine, a lot of students go into physical therapy, nursing, and, I've had them come back and talk to my current students and talk about their success stories and things that went well, things that didn't go well, things that are helpful. Even connecting with students from my, first couple years, whether it be on Facebook or any of the social media, just talking to them and hearing their stories about my classroom and, things they liked and, things we did and things that made them laugh, like that kind of helps you emotionally, with that mindset of like, this is why I do what I do. And that helps you, because there are times when you're down and you feel like, why am I doing this? And you might lose focus. But those types of things, from old students or even parents of students, giving you that positive reinforcement, reminding you exactly why you do what you do. So I really think that when it comes to PLN, there's a lot of people that are in that network. And the longer you're in the profession, the more people that kind of build that network. And, depending on what you're looking for, you look to the different people, whether it be the emotional support, whether it's looking at what works in your classroom, what doesn't, whether it looks, things you may be going through with your district and professional development, you kind of find those people that you need.
That's great. Yeah, honestly, I never really considered about the whole emotional aspect of it. That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's
And
really, and I think the longer you're in the profession, the more, because you become kind of an expert, I guess you could say, as far as it goes with the teaching part of it, and the content. So that part's great, but you always have new things that come down from the Board of Education or from the state, and some of those things you don't agree with. As an educator, you feel what's best for your students, and so when they're coming down with these new initiatives that you're like, this isn't going to work, and you need to be able to kind of talk that through with people, and your frustrations can kind of start building about things, and if you don't let that out, you can burn out. So you really have to have those people. And like I said, even if there's a crew of people that I sit with that at lunch, and we're all science, but some of us teach biology, some physics, some chemistry, some are new teachers, some have been there forever, and we just sit around and talk about things. But sometimes we just talk about TV shows or whatever and just laugh. And it's like, sometimes you walk out of there and you just feel good because you got to just laugh about stupid things, and that's helpful in what you do every day. So
Sure it is.
yep.
Speaking of new teachers, what advice, recommendations can you give to a new teacher entering the teaching profession, and what should they include in their PLN?
Okay. I would say include everybody in your PLN. And one thing that I do notice, and I have seen over the years with newer teachers coming in, it's very overwhelming those first couple of years. And sometimes, as a veteran teacher, we forget what it was like. Those first 2-3 years, like, you didn't eat lunch, you didn't, there's a lot of things you didn't do because you were so busy and trying to get things done. You have to take time for you. You have to take time to connect with people, not just the people who are helping you directly. Like, for instance, if me as a new biology teacher, if I was only connecting with biology teachers, you have to connect with the other teachers as well, other disciplines, other departments, not only those new, because new teachers have a tendency to kind of go towards other new teachers just because they're experiencing the same thing at that time. But you have teachers they've been there for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Everybody has something to share and something that's helpful. And, I even look to the new teachers sometimes for new ideas. They're fresh out of college or fresh out of student teaching, so maybe they tried some new strategies that might be helpful. And so you really can't push anybody aside because everybody has something to share, and something that might be helpful for you. And most veteran teachers are more than willing to, share their experiences and just give you some helpful advice, or just be a sounding board if you need it. And, that's really something that can help you be successful in going on. And, one thing I know as a teacher that I give advice to all teachers, whether it be new, old, whatever, is that you never feel that you're better than anybody else. And that includes your students. We're all humans, right? I always tell my students, I'm like, I'm not better than you. I'm just more educated than you. And that's why I stand up here and you sit out there. But, as far as it comes, we're all human. We all make mistakes. We all do dumb things. We all have great ideas. And, it's, if you treat them like they're human, because they know the teachers that don't. And, and other teachers, right. And other teachers also know who kind of thinks they're better than everybody else. And, people don't respond to that. And, you are in the job, you're going into a profession where, you have to be a people person, and you have to connect with people, whether it be your coworkers or your students. And, if you go in with the idea that, what, we're all human, and, some people have more things to offer than others. And, that's kind of how it is. And if you ever feel that everything, it's time to get out and move on. So, but, yeah.
Right. Well, thank you. It's all the questions I have.
Okay, great.
Right. So any closing statements you'd like to make? Anything else?
Not really. I just, say I like to do a lot of things. I've been advisors for different things. I work at a day camp in the summer, and all of those things kind of connect you to different people. And you may not think that an elementary school teacher can help you in, what you do in secondary or, in college or vice versa. But, everyone really does have something to share and something to offer, and, has a different perspective on things. And, so kind of keep those connections going. Don't let them
Good to
kind
know.
of waver, because you never know when you might need someone's advice.
That's good advice. All right.
Okay, and that includes you with me. If you ever need anything else, please feel free to reach out.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I really appreciate you doing this interview with me. Thank you.
Of course, you're very
All
welcome.
right.
All right, great.